Hello guys, welcome to TX Power Sports. Today we'll be showing you maintenance on a 110cc engine, how to video basically. This is a 110cc, but most of these tips will work all the way up to a 150cc engine. So a lot of people have been asking, how do you change the oil on this 110cc four-wheeler? Locate the drain plug, which is always on the right side of the engine. You can see your dipstick right there. Once you locate the dipstick, you can go ahead and check if it needs oil or also if it needs an oil change. And then at the bottom, you'll have your drain plug. So for the video, I did put it sideways, but when you do an oil change, make sure you have it on four wheels. The drain plug is always going to be the big screw. There's always going to be two screws on a 110cc engine, and it's always going to be this one right here. Once you drain it, you go ahead and put it back on, and you fill it in with the same side you check your oil level. Your rear brakes do require brake fluid. It does come with brake fluid when you buy one, brand new. But in case you do need to replace the oil, this is where you'll do it. It does take .4 on this one. It says use only .4. Then on the front brakes, they're drum, so they don't require any oil. I'll show you how to fix your alignment. On this one, as you can see, it's perfect, but sometimes it could be going inward or outward. You have easy access to adjust the alignment on these four-wheelers. This is going to be the same for any other four-wheeler that all the way to 150cc. As you can see here, this is your tie rod with two nuts at the end. You can just loosen these two on both ends, and then that'll make this one move freely. So once you move this freely, you can put your handlebars straight. Always make sure your handlebars are straight, and then once you have this loose, you can just turn this left or right, and then that'll make the tire move inward and outward. Once you have it straight, you can go ahead and hold this one with one of the wrenches, and then get another wrench and tighten both of these up without moving this one, so it can lock in. Same thing with this other side. It's the same thing. You have two nuts on both ends right here. You go ahead and twist this. Once it's loose, you can move the tire freely. Adjust it how you want. Make sure it's straight. Tighten it back up. Make sure your handlebars are straight, and then you'll go ahead and see that your tires are aligned. In order to adjust the front brakes, you do have two of these cable holders. What you do is loosen this one up, and then therefore this one you'll be able to screw out. Once you screw it out, as you can see, this thread is around right here. Make sure you screw it out about halfway. Screw this back up, both of them, and then you'll have more tension on the front brakes. If that still doesn't work, make sure your drum brakes are installed correctly. As you can see, this drum brake has a slot where the spindle needs to go right here. Once it's on, that means it's correctly installed. Same thing on this side. There's a slot right there. Let's see if I can get a better angle. As you can see, there's a slot right there. Make sure that's installed correctly, and make sure these top springs are not compressed. As you can see, this one's nice and spread out. Same thing on this side. Sometimes if the spring is compressed like this, that means the drum brake is not installed properly, so you do need to adjust it from back here. Kill switch. So if it's on this position, it won't start. Once you put it down, it'll start. You have the key on, your battery is fully charged, you push the brake, and the lights don't come on, like this one here, you need to check your fuse. Now, in order to check your fuse, you need to remove your seat. It does have a latch at the bottom. You just pull it and the seat comes off. And this is your fuse. It's always going to be on the red positive cable of the battery. And it's always going to have like a clear casing like this, or white casing. You open it and then you check your fuse. Most of the times you can see if your fuse is bad right away, because you'll see it split up. In this case, it looks perfect. Sometimes, even though the fuse looks good like this, it's always good to replace it whenever you're having trouble starting it. Like if you're having issues starting, always change your fuse. It does come with the extra fuse here. Just take this one out and then remove this one and put the new one right here, and then close it back up, and then that should make your light turn back on, and then you start it. If the fuse blows up right away once you switch it, that means you have a short somewhere. So we do require you to take it to a shop to get it inspected and check the wiring. So you remove the side panel off to access your carburetor on this particular model. On some models, the cutout would be way bigger down here, so you don't have to remove any covers. You can just access it from down here. But in this case, this one is easier to access with the side panel off. The reason why these carburetors go bad is because people leave gas in the gas tank for a long period of time, and the ethanol ruins the carburetor. It gunks up. To remove this is easy. It just has 2 bolts right here. This is one, and then it has one more on this side, and then it'll have a gasket in between the carburetor and the intake. This one, you just keep it the way it is. You'll need some wrenches to remove this cap. Once you loosen it up, you'll remove the air filter as well from right here, and that's it. That's how you remove the carburetor. So it's just 3 things you need to put apart. It's this, the top hat, and then the air intake. Once you remove it, you'll see in here a needle and a spring. Just the same way you remove it is the same way you put it back in on the new carburetor. Once you install your new carburetor, you always got to make sure your gas is also new, because if you put in the same gas that was in there to the new carburetor, you're gonna have the same issue. So as you can see, this is your fuel filter, and then this is your fuel line going into the carburetor. You always want to drain all the gas out and then put the fresh one in. Once you see the fresh one coming out of this fuel line, you go ahead and reconnect it to the carburetor. This is what regulates the idle. I'll go ahead and show you what that does. So once you have the bike on, if the bike keeps shutting off by itself, that means your idle is too low. Like this. As you can see, it turned off by itself. I'll turn it back on, and it sounds kind of rough. If this was to go a little bit more low, see that? It shuts off. So if you're having an issue with it turning off by itself at idle, you need to turn this screw to the right, which is clockwise. I'll show you what it does. See? It keeps shutting off. Turn it to the right. Now it's staying on. Now if it's too high, it's a bad thing as well, because the engine will wear out prematurely. The governor is located right here. This restricts the four-wheeler to go fast. So in order to make this a little faster, you can just screw this screw here out and then lock the nut back in, and that'll make the throttle go further back. Now if you want to slow it down, all you got to do is do the opposite. Screw this screw in, and that'll restrict the throttle from going further back. One last thing is the remote here. You can shut this bike off while they're driving it. Here you can shut the bike off like this, and then in order to start it back on, make sure you unlock it, because if you leave it locked, it's not going to turn on. So just hit the unlock button and it starts. If this video helped you out, make sure you give it a like and and you subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we will be uploading more videos. If you have any other questions, leave them down below in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.